The Mediterranean diet. It's called the healthiest in the world. Vegetables, fruits, whole grains, olive oil. Very little meat, very little saturated fat. This, we're told, is how the long-lived people of the Mediterranean eat. But what if this diet was invented, not on the shores of the Mediterranean, but in the office of an American scientist? Today you'll learn what people in the Mediterranean actually eat, and why it has almost nothing in common with what you've been told. Here's what the so-called Mediterranean diet recommends. Plenty of vegetables and fruits, whole grains, pasta, brown rice, whole wheat bread, olive oil as the main source of fat, fish in moderation, meat almost none, dairy kept to a minimum. Sound familiar? It's almost word for word what the WHO and most nutritional authorities around the world recommend. The term Mediterranean diet first appeared in 1975 in a book by American scientist Ancel Keys and his wife Margaret. But Keys began collecting data for this book back in 1958 on the island of Crete. The problem is that he arrived in Crete during Lent, 40 days during which Orthodox Greeks eat no meat and no dairy. And Keys took this fasting food as their year-round national diet. Keys's main idea was simple. Animal fats, saturated fatty acids, cause heart disease. Replace them with vegetable oils, and you'll be healthy. But even his own study showed the opposite. The Minnesota Coronary Experiment, a major study conducted between 1968 and 1973. Over 9,000 participants, strict dietary control. Half of them had their animal fats replaced with corn oil. Their cholesterol did go down, but mortality went up. For every 30-point drop in cholesterol, the risk of death increased by 22%. It's no surprise this study was never published. 40 years later, researcher Christopher Ramsden from the National Institutes of Health found the raw data in moldy boxes in the basement of one of the study's authors. Old magnetic tapes, yellowed documents, results no one was supposed to see. Ramsden published them in the British Medical Journal in 2016, and even earlier, in 2013, he uncovered another unpublished study from Sydney, conducted between 1966 and 1973, involving 458 Australians. It showed that replacing part of the animal fats in their diet with vegetable oils increased the risk of death by 17.6%. For half a century, we were told, replace animal fats, saturated fatty acids, with vegetable oils rich in polyunsaturated fatty acids. This became the cornerstone of dietary guidelines around the world. Even though the research directly showed the opposite, this replacement increased mortality from all causes, including coronary heart disease and cardiovascular disease. So what do people on the shores of the Mediterranean actually eat? In Sicily, they eat sardines and lamb offal. In Provence, they cook with duck fat and butter. In Andalusia, the highest culinary honor is jamón, dry-cured ham from a pig that spent 6 months eating acorns. In Crete, shepherds drink raw goat's milk and eat lamb stewed in its own fat. In Lebanon and Syria, no serious feast is complete without lamb, roasted with kidneys and liver. In Turkey, lamb is the foundation of the cuisine. In Tunisia and Morocco, meat slow-cooked for hours over low heat. None of these dishes look anything like pasta with a light drizzle of olive oil. Real Mediterranean food is animal fat, offal, cured meat, goat's milk, and hard cheeses. It's food that people here have eaten for thousands of years. What people today call the Mediterranean diet is not the diet of the long-lived. It's Ancel Keys' idea turned into a global recommendation. And the studies that could have changed everything sat in a basement for 40 years. Maybe it's time to look at what Mediterranean long-lived people actually eat, instead of what we've been told. Sources are available, as always, in the video description. If this was useful, subscribe. More coming on what science actually knows about our bodies and what we're rarely told.